you know what? It's good to surround yourself with great people.
That's it.
If you surround yourself with great people do great things.
We are who we hang out with personally and professionally. Thank you to our sponsors of the Inside Story Hunters podcast. A big shout out to Chad Hill of Term Provider, home of Big Lou, Tiffany Wondros, CNR Services, Michael Valletta of Quick Cuts Media. Don't forget to subscribe at youtube.com, where you can follow our weekly episodes and get an automatic link to listen to our next guest sharing a part of their incredible inside story. So subscribe or listen on any podcast channel to your Inside Story Hunters podcast. Thanks for following us. Thanks for supporting us. Well, hello, insiders. This next episode of Inside Story Hunters podcast is going to include a special guest, Michele Roberts-Bauer of the ABC organization, otherwise known as Associated Builders and Contractors Association. She is the president of the Kansas City chapter. She will not need my help to unveil her powerful inside story, but this association supports over 21,000 contractors, various forms of life, I should say organizations, businesses in the construction industry. She is an incredible force to know and to work with, and to be in her position. She's influencing so many positive things and connected to so many incredible companies. So helping unveil her story as the president of this particular chapter of this nationwide organization is with hopes that if you're listening or watching, that you might have interest in learning more about ABC. You may have interest in learning more about Michele, maybe in Kansas City or in some other part of the US. But this organization is really an incredible resource that many of our construction companies that the Inside Story supports, the construction companies that have been members, participated, they're on the board, they would swear by ABC. So from the education, all kinds of things. Michele will tell us so much. So stay tuned. Don't forget to subscribe below and learn more about ABC and Michele. So hang on, and here we go. Well, hello, Michele. Thank you for being a guest on Inside Story Hunters. This is Laurie with a story with Michele Roberts-Bauer. Am I saying it correctly?
Yes, you are.
All right, just want to make sure. So, but you are the president. I should have rolled out the virtual red carpet, so I'm sorry I didn't. But I did wear a red shirt in hope that that might be acceptable.
Yeah, no. Please.
Awesome. But you're the president of the ABC Heart of America, the amazing organization, Associated Builders and Contractors. That's a nationwide organization. Is it 21,000 contractors that are a part of your organization throughout the US?
Yes. We have 69 chapters that all work together. So our chapter represents folks in Missouri, in Kansas, and we're part of a national network. So yeah, fairly big organization.
And so Kansas City is very warm and dear to my heart as we spend time with QTAC Rock, which is an attorney firm that's nationwide. That's located in Kansas City, right off of Main Street. So I heard wonderful, amazing things from Scott Chaper. We want to give a big shout out to RSM Marketing for introducing us. We're here today for you to unveil your powerful story. And I think we need to start with the fact that you're about to celebrate 8 years as the president of your chapter. But more importantly, is this truly your first career or your first job graduating from college 18 years ago?
Yeah, I graduated from college in South Carolina and moved to Seattle, Washington, and went looking for a job where I could help people. I wanted something in the nonprofit sector, and I applied to a newspaper ad because they still had that. That was the thing then. And got hired on in member services for the ABC chapter in Seattle, Washington, and had an opportunity to work there for a couple of years. And then had the opportunity to go and work for the national organization that's headquartered in Washington, D.C. So I was there for 8 years. I traveled all over the country. I met nonprofit and construction leaders from across this great country and learned so much from so many people, and then had the opportunity to come here and lead this local chapter 8 years ago. So time flies when you're having fun. But yeah, I've only ever worked for ABC since getting out of school.
So no one has ever tried to, yeah, I can't believe I'm asking you this, but I'm going for it. No one's tried to recruit you, steal you away and say, come on. With all of the companies that you're affiliated with, I could only imagine the insight that you have, the intel that you have, experience, and so many of the resources that ABC provides that a lot of your members don't take advantage of. So you're a powerful human being with so much information. So tell us, how did you just stay so connected?
Because ABC is about relationships. At the end of the day, construction is one of, if not the largest industry in the world. It is all about people. You know, it's people talk about the materials and the supplies and the technology, but construction's about people and the relationships. And when you work in an association, everything you do is about connecting people to each other, to resources, to information, and you develop some really deep connections. And so I don't know, it's hard to imagine doing anything else, because I am somebody that considers myself to be incredibly fortunate. I get up every day and I love going to work. I love what I do. No 2 days have ever been the same. I've been doing the same job for 8 years, the same title for 8 years in the same city, going to the same building, and there have not been 2 days that are the same. And I just love that. I love that opportunity. I love what I do, and I love the people that I get to work with. So I know it's hard to imagine doing something else. It's not because I mean, who ever heard of staying with the same place for 18 years? And yet here I am.
No, it's incredible. And I would say, it used to be that way, right? 30 years with a company, we would retire, 40 years, whatever it was. But to listen to you share that, you can just feel the power and the excitement and the enthusiasm. And so that's really what fascinated me about your inside story. And of course, the association. And I think it's important. There are viewers and there are listeners right now that know nothing about ABC. So spend a few minutes, dig into it, and give us that elevator pitch and really elaborate, if you would, on who ABC is, because there is so much to it. It would take us 5 episodes in order to cover everything you do.
Yeah,
the organization does.
Yes. So we are at the very slim, we're a commercial construction trade association. We provide programs and services for commercial and industrial contractors. And that means that what we do changes a little bit over time. What our key issues were 30 years ago, 50 years ago, probably a little bit different than they are today. Today, the biggest issue facing the construction industry is workforce.
Yes.
We have 630,000 open jobs in the construction industry. We have so many incredible opportunities and people don't know about them. And even if they do, if they say, I want to be an electrician, how does one do that? Because there are so many different ways to accomplish that goal, we've muddied the story. We've made it so messy that people don't know what to do. So a lot of what we do at ABC is we gather folks from the industry together. We determine what's keeping them up at night, and then we try to find solutions together as an industry for our industry.
Phenomenal. We support several construction companies, and you have hit the most painful part of what's happening. And as a support team of trying to help put a voice to the company, electricians, the general laborer, the 4-person, right? Because we know we shouldn't be saying 4-man or a 4-woman. And so and I want to touch upon that if we can in a gentle, sensitive way. But, how you communicate and how you get that message out there to who can actually do the work is really anyone. There are incredible women that are in the construction industry, and being a fellow member of an organization that supports women in construction, it is mind-boggling to run into people who don't realize that the career opportunities that exist for women for all walks of life. So
Yeah.
let's take a few minutes and talk about that. I mean, you're not just working with I'll just say the good old boy anymore who swings a hammer or, uses a saw to cut some wood. What does that really look like?
So I think that one of the things that's interesting is that, I mean, it's a challenge for recruiting, period. But people think, oh, if I work in construction, I'm going to have to work outside. I'm going to have to dig a ditch. Listen, the ditch digger is sitting in $1 million piece of equipment. It's got a radio, it's got air conditioning, and they are making a fantastic living. Okay. It's not what people are imagining from back in the 50s, right? There's immense technology. There are so many opportunities. Yes, we have opportunities for men and women from every walk of life in the field. We were just having a discussion about this yesterday. I'll never forget when we had our craft competition where we bring in our apprentices, and there's local competitions, and then the winners of the local contest get to go to the national ones. And so there was a woman who won the welding competition, and she just oozed confidence. And I loved it because everybody has this idea of what a welder looks like. Well, who says? I mean, it's the opportunities are there for anybody that wants them. And there's never been a better time to go into the construction industry because there is work to be had. There are incredible career growth opportunities. I think some folks think that they're going for a job. They don't realize that if you sit around a table of construction company owners, you cannot make any assumptions about how they got there. Maybe they came up on their tools, as they say, straight on the job training. Maybe they went through an apprenticeship program. Maybe they went through a community college. Maybe they have a college degree. Maybe they have a college degree in construction science, or maybe it's in liberal arts. Like, you just have no idea what pathway somebody took. And you can go and work in the field and have a wonderful life. The construction industry has one of the highest job happiness ratings of any industry. And that can be your life, and you can achieve the American dream. Or if you have an entrepreneurial spirit and you'd rather own your own company, then by golly, if you've got talent and grit and want to do that and run your own business, you absolutely can do that as well. And nobody's going to ask you which papers you have behind you. They're going to ask, what can you do? What can you accomplish? And it's an industry that is just so very much tied to winning. And when you win, you can achieve anything. If you work hard and you get trained, and I'm not saying this, like, no matter what path you took, you've been educated along the way. It's just not always in a 4-room school building, right? Like, it can come up anyway. And I think that is one of the coolest things about our industry. And it also makes it really hard to recruit, because how do you become X? How do you become Y? Well, however you want, just is really overwhelming.
Mm-hmm. That was just so incredibly inspiring, the way you just expressed all of that, because it really is that. I mean, we are literally walking alongside organizations that say, we'll pay for your certifications, multiple certifications. If you don't want to stay out in the field and do the labor work, then just work hard 6 months, 3 months, something. Just be that person who's at least willing to learn the trade, get the experience. But I mean, your association provides an academy. You have classes. You invest in the companies. So if they don't have their own in-house training, if they don't have their own certification programs, they don't have the people, the CPR, whatever, you name it, your association provides all of these tools and resources. So
Absolutely.
Right. So then this whole podcast is not just to talk about the recruitment, but it is it is so incredibly important that we get a voice out there in such a positive way to be a part of the people that are saying construction is incredibly awesome. Like, stop thinking it's going to be just, $4 an hour and you're going to stand out in the rain every day. That's not how it works.
The majority of Americans work for small businesses. The reason that businesses join associations is to help improve the industry, but also to get resources tailored specifically to their industry. So we provide education and training opportunities for every person in a construction company. We provide apprenticeship classes and craft training for electricians, plumbers, pipe fitters, carpenters, you name it. ABC has schools all around the country. We have schools here in Missouri and Kansas, and we have about 400 students. There are about 100,000 craft trainees within ABC every year. But we're also teaching people how to run the business. We have a project management institute that's 2 weeks. We have a 9-month lead program that is about running a construction company, everything from contracts and contract negotiations to understanding marketing and branding to leadership skills. I mean, we teach a whole bunch of leadership classes because you can't just take somebody who is great at this job and then put them in charge of other people that are great at that job and think it's the same job. It's not. Leading others, inspiring others, helping people to reach their own goals is a different skill set. And so we help empower people to do that so that they can really invest in their people who are their most important asset. I mean, from a financial perspective, it's the most important aspect. And then quite frankly, when you're talking about this, it's a relationship business. People have very deep connections with their team members and they want to help them be successful. And we're really honored to get to help do that. Some big companies can do it themselves, right? But this way, you can send one and you can send two and you can send one and you can send four, and there we go. We've got enough class to make it work.
Amazing. This is all inspiring. It's positive. It's educational. But Michele, I know that your role, 8 years as president, has not been simple. Nobody sits in your seat and has just glorious days every day. And if that's true, then shame on me. Woohoo! You're amazing. You better be teaching the classes on it. But I wanted to take a few minutes to unveil part of the hardships, the struggles, to be able to sit in the seat that you sit in. What has it been like? I mean, what are things that that you faced that you maybe just can teach from a place of struggle that can help people, like in a chamber? There's presidents, these organizations, when you're dealing with businesses and there's a lot of pressure and a lot of responsibility and people are paying fees. What's that been like from the position that is less than favorable, that people don't realize that you're handling and you're facing and your team is facing on a regular basis?
I think I wasn't prepared for that. Construction is cyclical, and it has been booming essentially for the time that I've been here. When you build relationships with people and you're building it over strategic plans and financial spreadsheets and making decisions about parties and networking events that are a lot of fun, you build relationships. And so there are moments when you can reveal personal hardships, business hardships. And I think that being a place where people can come and confide in you their challenges their struggles is a gift, and it's a blessing, and it can also be very challenging, because when you bring in that, you're taking in some of that sorrow, right?
Mm-hmm. Yes.
Um,
Yes. You're a confidant. You're yeah. And and I have a feeling that you're an empath, that you feel things at a deeper level than most people do. And you have to be intuitive, I would assume, to be in your role, to also decipher, how to navigate that information, what not to, and to be able to also marry it when you know something about ABC company. I shouldn't use ABC, but something,
Yep.
right? About XYZ, and then DEF, and they want to like maybe do business together, but you're just privy to things and being able to balance that.
Yeah, you learn you learn a lot of secrets, and you see decisions that are being made, and you only know a little bit, and it's not your job to judge. It's not your job to evaluate, because you don't have the full story, and there are 4 sides to every story, right?
Isn't there? Mm-hmm.
So it's been, yeah, I mean, there are definitely times where there are things that are hard. I mean, figuring out how to make budget on a program, trying to balance resources because your dreams are always greater than you can fund, right? I mean, that's just part of it. But it's the human side. It's the human side that's challenging. That's we joke, in an association, you work for a board. I work for a board of directors. So it changes a little bit each year, and the chair changes every single year. So my joke is, oh yeah, I have a new boss every year. It's so hard. It's not hard. It's wonderful. The hard part is saying goodbye to the one that's leaving, right?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Every February, because we change over on a calendar. So every February, it's like, I'm like, hey buddy, do you miss me? I miss you. Because you go from talking to somebody all the time, right? To then it's like, oh, well, now we're doing other things, right? So I think that, but that's probably true for any role, right? And I guess if you're in a leadership position, the difference is you don't get to show it.
That's
so
right.
I think that's probably why, like, you asked me, like, well, what's the hard part? You don't talk about that.
Exactly. Yeah, but the fact is that there are days I'm not looking to dig in and say, okay, come on, let's unveil something that we shouldn't. But you're really on stage. There's a light shining on you. You're front and center, and your performance matters. You can't have a day where you let down, let your guard down, I would think. I mean, you get to be human, but at the same time, you're an advocate, you're an ambassador to many organizations, and your chapter. How many members are in your chapter? Let's try to tell more about just your unique chapter.
We have about 235 members. We have our main office is in Kansas City, and then we also have a school in St. Louis. So our members the bulk of them are in the KC Metro. We're really looking to, we have members that have been members for almost 40 years in St. Louis and different parts of Missouri. So ABC is kind of one of those things where you get a lot of family businesses. And so I have folks that their parents were really involved with ABC, and now they're really involved with ABC. And isn't that so cool? Like, I think that's so
Absolutely.
Cool. Because you have to work for that. You have to earn that. You have to earn that. And it's a privilege to get to do that, and to watch individuals grow in their career, watch businesses grow and find success. Like, that's a very fun part. One of my favorite things is we'll have students come through the program and they'll graduate, and like, there are individuals where I handed them their graduation certificate from our apprenticeship program, right? Like, up on stage, like I was there, and now they've started their own companies, and they're coming back and joining ABC. And now they're investing in team members and putting them into school. And if that is not the coolest flipping thing, to watch people continue the investment in building people, I think it's really cool.
I think it's amazing. I mean, multi-generational opportunities when you're watching, we have a client right now who just passed the torch to his nephew and his two sons. 56 years as of this past February is just unbelievable. I mean, that's a lifetime, and it's hopefully many more generations to come, God willing, because and it's in their blood. So how lucky are you to be able to watch someone transform from a graduate, learning, and then implement, grow? Because growing businesses is really about growing people, growing opportunities. I mean, that's the purpose of Inside Story Hunters, is to create opportunities. It's, growing a company isn't just about growing the bottom line. It's not about just turning that P&L into, it's wonderful when you go from 30 million to 40 million or whatever the number is, but hopefully that meant jobs were generated. People did make more money, but there was more resources, more technology, more opportunities, more opportunity to give back, to go into the community, to do something for nonprofits, for incredible, important missions. Like you said, there's people who talk about helping people, and then there's people who really help people. So you're one of those people that you're reaping the fruits of your labor all the time.
We're trying.
So if I wanted to be a member, walk us through it. How do I go about becoming a member? And do I have to live in Kansas City or have my business in Kansas City? What does that look like? I mean, for your chapter.
Yeah. So to be a member of ABC Heart of America, you would want to be in Missouri or Kansas. But ABC's got 69 chapters across the country. So you could easily contact your local organization. Every chapter has a slightly different flavor because it's about serving their local market, right? I think it's funny. On the coast, they have lots of fishing tournaments out in the ocean, and it's beautiful. And then you can have on the East Coast, you'll have crab boils, and we have barbecue contests here in Kansas City. I mean, and that's like a really silly little flavor thing, but it's about the community, right? So if somebody was looking at engaging their company in ABC, they could go to abc.org and find their local chapter and then strike up a conversation with their local organization. And they can help them identify, like, what challenges do you have? What are your goals? And make sure that it's a right fit to engage, because we do represent a lot of companies. It's contractors and construction related firms. A lot of companies will specialize in serving the construction industry, right? Accountants, marketing agencies, insurance companies who really have a niche focus on the specific needs of contractors. And so they're a really valuable part of our organization as well.
That's a great point, right? You said it, the accountants, the attorneys, all of the Inside Story is an organization that, that I own, that we walk alongside, and we've been the admin assistant to the doing the social media management, things like that. But more importantly, it's part of being able to walk alongside them to help them find the workers, find the people, the future leaders of their organizations to grow and help tell their story and get out there and be able to spread the word. But to reach you personally, your website we have at www.abcksmo.org, right? Did I get that right?
That's correct.
Awesome. Terrific. Is there anything special happening within your chapter during the next, I'll say 12 months or so, that you want to put a voice to, or something that happens every year at a certain time of the year that is really important for people to be on the lookout?
I'm going to highlight our safety program. So safety is incredibly important in the construction industry. And we have at ABC a safety performance management system. And that sounds dreadfully boring, but it's really important. It is a free tool that a contractor can use to go through and evaluate what they're doing today for their safety program. It's not just about the data points. It's asking questions about how often are you doing a job site specific safety orientation? What type of near miss reporting program do you have in place? It's asking really specific programmatic questions, and it helps outline a roadway to developing a better safety program. It is a constant journey. We have to constantly be looking at how we can make sure that we're taking care of people holistically and that they're going home as well as they're coming to work, right? And we as an organization and an industry have really been looking at expanding that to total human health. And we're working on empowering companies and individuals to have conversations around mental health. I feel like everybody is talking about mental health after, COVID. It's really become a more pronounced conversation. It's a thing that's always been there, but people are willing to talk about it now. And I am just so, proud isn't the right word, but when I look around the room and I see folks acknowledging that there is a way that they can do more to help people and putting those things into place. And you can see some of those opportunities in that STEP safety program and really walk folks through what they can do to help their people. It's a really important aspect that I just don't think we can talk about enough.
That's beautiful. And you said total human health. I mean, we touch upon it. There used to be a time when in business you didn't make things personal. I've been reading so much about the importance now, especially in the construction industry. It's so important that we are the people, the human element, that we're connecting, that it is personal. We need to know what's happening in people's personal lives. We need to know how you're feeling. We don't need to, we want to. We should care enough, and taking the extra few minutes to stop and say to you, Michele, like, how's your kids? How's your family? How's your dog? How's your cat? Whatever, like, how's life right now? Before we start moving into our agendas, it's imperative that we're just taking the extra 5 minutes. It could be the difference between saving a life or just empowering someone, or just someone needed to be heard before they make decisions that are less than favorable. And we really need to be touching each other from a place of just connection, human connection.
Yep, 100%, 100%.
So it's just gone are the days of just, leave it at the door, show up at work, whether it's virtual, and some of us are not leaving the door, right? I mean, been in the virtual world for a long time, but now the world has entered into that for a period of time. Now people are realizing, like, I haven't opened my door and stepped out of my home, my apartment, my townhouse, my house, whatever it is. And you're realizing how much we need to stay connected. Absolutely. So it's drawing people out and making sure that that human element is staying top of mind. So tell us from a position again as the president of your chapter and your association, maybe something that warms your heart, maybe one of your most memorable moments since you've been 8 years and you're about to celebrate, something that always immediately comes to top of mind that you say, I was so fortunate to experience this.
Oh man, there's so many.
I bet.
I mean, I've watched students who have struggled, who have had challenges. I've watched them walk across a graduation stage and their entire family there standing and cheering. I've watched team members, people that I get to work with every day, walk into a room and teach a class and knock people's socks off as if they were born to be in that moment because everything in their career led them to that. I have sat in incredibly important government buildings and talked to people who make decisions about how we run our country, about the importance of careers in construction, and been able to advocate on behalf of my members and students for things that would make it easier for them to be successful. I mean, I've had so many greatest moments that it's impossible to count. It's impossible to count. It's just been a very fortunate career to be able to have so many opportunities to see other people succeed.
It's really beautiful. And the fact that you just love it and say that no 2 days are the same, because you realize we've touched upon politics, human connection, personal lives, mental health, recruitment, job opportunities, hardships and struggles of finding people. What did you say? 600,000 plus jobs that are open and available. We have covered a wide range of so many areas connected to construction, which really is just not construction. There's a lot of businesses, the small businesses of all kinds of, industries that are experiencing the same things. But we've touched upon so many things, and you're an association that continues to thrive and grow. Did you see a dip in membership and changes when the pandemic kicked in, or did you find it to actually be stronger than ever because the resources and the people and the relationships?
I received more thank you notes and messages from our members during COVID, in the first 6 months of COVID, than my previous entire career put together. And I'm a person that gets thank you notes. Like, people are very nice to me. It's a great job. Association management's a fantastic job. People are constantly nice to you. We have seen increased engagement. I mean, we did some really random things. I mean, and part of the challenge with COVID, so if you work in association management, you are a consensus builder. You bring lots of different people from different seats on the bus with different perspectives, and you try to build consensus around how to solve whatever problem it is before you. I'm a consensus builder. That's what I do. There were very few times when there was consensus around how to deal with the pandemic. That was exhausting, but everybody always put on their ABC hat and worked together, right? So there were times when we did a webinar on a Sunday afternoon. Like, it is going to be, when I'm old and gray, it's going to go down as one of the craziest things we ever did. But one of the new orders came out, and I'm making breakfast on a Saturday morning, texting with, my leadership team. And we're like, people are not going to know what to do on Monday morning. Should we do a webinar on Monday morning? No, let's do it on a Sunday afternoon. Sunday afternoon, we broke our webinar service. Like, it stopped letting people in because we had so many people. We sent it out with 24 hours notice. I'd never seen anything like that. We don't do webinars locally. Like, that's not a thing. And there were just little moments like that where, when you go through challenges, you have an opportunity to look around and know who you're standing with, and you go through it together. And in so many ways, we've come out stronger because we were able to really focus on what is most important. And I feel like that's true for many people. There were incredible hardships, but we focused on what's important. We relied on our relationships. We relied on our ability to find a way to get consensus and make decisions and move forward. So I think that our organization is stronger than ever through the last, crazy couple of years. I mean, I don't know. I'm sure there's a more diplomatic way that you should address all of this time, but it's been crazy and we're okay.
Yeah, but you're talking about being innovative. We're talking about construction. We're talking about contractors. We're talking about organizations that just support one of the largest industries in the world. That's what you highlighted in the very beginning of this episode. So it's about, let's figure it out. Let's build something. Let's create something. Let's mastermind, and let's map it out and just make it happen. everything has a solution. It's just, the good old, how do we react to it when something gets thrown our way that we weren't prepared for? So I love the fact that you did something on a Sunday afternoon and there were people hungry, ready to learn and do something. So that's incredible. And kudos to you to just be able to step up and say, we have to, rather than, well, let's sit back and wait and see what happens. Because unfortunately, that is a good portion, and nobody wants to talk about that, but that is a good portion of why there's a lot of businesses or people and things that just didn't go well, didn't come out of the hardships, because we just, you just cave to, well, I don't know what we're going to do, so we won't do anything. You have to do something. And if you choose not to, then of course the solution's not going to exist. So kudos to you. Amazing.
You know what? It's good to surround yourself with great people.
That's it.
If you surround yourself with great people do great things.
We are who we hang out with personally and professionally. So if you really want to know Michele, obviously you just need to check out who she's spending time with. So I ask every guest this question, and it's not to be morbid, but it's from a place of, may you live to be 300 years old. But, what is your legacy? What's your footprint? When your time has come where you're spiritually with us, how do you want to be remembered? Who's Michele, and how is it going to carry on? And how will the world remember you?
I hope that, I thought about that during COVID a lot, about what kind of leader I wanted to be. And I wrote it on a Post-it note, what my goal was, as a reminder, because you should always begin with the end in mind. For my career, I hope people will remember me as somebody who was honest and direct and would tell you like it is, and did what she could, the best she could every day to help the industry. Like, people are like, oh, you help companies. That doesn't sound very exciting. Way to go. Companies are made up of people. People work for companies. People get their paychecks from companies. And when we help companies, when we help them succeed, when we help them improve the environment for their employees, when we help them have more resources to donate to their community projects, when we help them invest in career growth opportunities, we are helping our community. And I don't know, it's an honor and a privilege. And I hope that people will say I was worthy of it.
Beautiful. And then you started to segue, you said professionally, now personally, would there be anything else that we should know? Because I did a crappy job of digging into your inside story of like, so who are you as a person? ABC is really important. And I wanted us to put a voice to this. I really did, on behalf of the people that potentially will enter into the industry, people that didn't even think about construction, the companies who need your resources and so forth. But who are you?
I'm just a person. My husband and I moved to Kansas City 8 years ago with no connections here. We didn't know anybody. We chose to move here for this opportunity and build a life here because it's the heart of America, for goodness sake. Great barbecue, great sports, and it's been a place where we feel like we've been able to build a life and relationships. And I hope that first and foremost, people will say that I was a good wife and a good daughter and a good sister and friend. Like, that's really what it comes down to. Your life is about your relationships. That's what life is about.
It really is. And love is, that's the only thing that you can take with you, even in the last breath. It's you can give love and receive love. I didn't say that you could, it doesn't mean you have to speak it, but the fact is something that you can take with you. And then hopefully we've left enough and we've touched enough lives, and you're touching lives every day. And as you said, touching businesses means touching people and being able to influence and be a positive asset to the world. Just thank you, Michele. And I really enjoyed getting to know you briefly. And I hope there's many more opportunities that we'll get to know each other on a grander scale. And that insiders, you're listening. If you'd like to reach out to Michele, obviously we're providing website information along through this episode. But is there anything, Michele, that you think that our insiders, our viewers and our listeners need to know, or how can they reach out to you other than going to your website?
No, all of our info is on the website, and you can see all about the incredible career opportunities that exist in construction if you head on over there.
Awesome. All right. So insiders, thanks for being with us today. Don't forget to click subscribe. And if you've been listening or watching on all the different podcast channels, do the same steps and just click and look below for more information about Michele and the incredible story about ABC, the heart of America. So thank you for being with us, Michele. Grateful to have you as our guest.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Okay. Bye for now.
Bye.